Graham put phone records on the table. Patel stayed silent. If you're at your screen this morning and haven't seen it yet, you need to keep watching right now. Because what happened in the Senate chamber today was one of the most unexpected, most stunning, and most silent moments we've seen in a congressional hearing in Washington in years. Silent. Because the real speaker was the phone recordings. If you misread Lindsey Graham, you'll pay a heavy price. This senior Republican senator representing South Carolina is one of Washington's most complex figures. Some find him inconsistent. Some find him unpredictable. Some people cannot figure out which side they are on. He was a close friend of John McCain for years. Then he became one of Trump's strongest supporters. Then he criticized him. Then he supported it again. This image of inconsistency is his greatest asset because no one can fit him into a single frame. No one can predict his next move, and no one knows which file he holds until he puts it on the table. Today, he put the phone records on the table, but the story doesn't start there. Graham had started preparing for this trial 6 weeks earlier. Very few people knew this, because Graham is the type of person who prepares quietly. He doesn't make public statements. He doesn't leak it to the press. He doesn't use his advantage before the right time. For 6 weeks, he worked on just one thing with his team. The phone records of FBI Director Kash Patel. Not official records, records compiled from open sources, cross-verified with court documents, and obtained through access requests under federal record preservation laws. Every call, every message, every connection. And in those records, Graham had found the records he was looking for. The hearing started at 10:30 in the morning. Kash Patel had arrived with his usual confidence. With her were lawyers, pre-prepared answers, and a bureaucratic language shield designed to deflect every question. He had dodged questions from multiple senators since the morning. Each evasion was making him a little more relaxed. In the afternoon session, it would be Graham's turn. Patel knew this, but he didn't know what Graham had in his hand. When Graham got the word, he put 3 folders on his desk. Just 3. It didn't seem complicated. It wasn't as dramatic as Schiff's manila folders. It wasn't as mysterious as Kennedy's yellow envelope. Just 3 ordinary folders. Patel's lawyers looked at those folders. They looked like standard paperwork. Graham started to speak. "My director," he said. The South Carolina accent was, as always, stretching the words a bit. "I'll ask you something different today." Patel was waiting. "My questions won't be technical. It won't be about the documents. It won't be about classification levels." Patel relaxed slightly. Non-technical questions could be deflected more easily. "My questions will be about the calls." The first change on Patel's face began at that moment. Very small, very fast. But it was enough. Graham opened the first folder, "My Director, November 14th, 2024, 11:52 p.m. Patel was waiting. "You made a phone call at this time that night." The call duration was 47 minutes. The number being sought appears to belong to a law firm connected to one of the key witnesses in the Epstein investigation at that time. The venue has changed. "Do you remember this call?" Patel tried to respond. "As a director, I have numerous meetings and 47 minutes, Director. It's the middle of the night. A law firm connected to the Epstein investigation. Do you remember this call?" "A specific conversation. Yes or no?" "No answer. My director." Verifying this kind of specific communication. Can't you verify it, or do you not remember? These are very different things. Patel stopped. "I don't remember." Graham noted something. "You don't remember. You don't remember." The second question sat on top of the first. "November 15th, 2024, the next day, 7:14 a.m. Patel's hands came together on the table. That morning, immediately after the night of November 14th, a different number was called. This number is directly linked to a name mentioned in the Epstein case, who was under federal protection at that time. Graham took a page out of the folder. He held it up to the cameras. "Call duration 23 minutes. At 7 in the morning. A number associated with a person under federal protection." Patel's lawyer immediately tried to intervene. "The senator, the accuracy of this connection. This connection has been verified by federal court records." Graham looked at the lawyer. "I'm asking your client, counselor." The lawyer sat down. He turned to Graham Patel. "Do you remember this call?" Patel took a deep breath. The content of certain communications with the public. I'm not asking about the content. Do you remember the call? Silence. Director. Did you make a call on the morning of November 15th at 7:14? Did you make a call at 7:14 a.m. on November 15th? There are a lot of calls in the morning. Did you call this number? Silence. Graham waited. He didn't hurry. He waited with the patience of a Southerner. Certain communications may have taken place. It could be. Maybe. The third question was the one that caught everyone off guard. Graham opened the second folder. Director, I will give you a different date now. December 3rd, 2024. Patel was waiting. That day, the FBI made an internal decision to reclassify certain materials in the Epstein investigation. Just before this decision, on the same day, 3 separate searches took place. Graham removed the page. The first call was at 9:23. Duration, 31 minutes. The number is linked to someone who was part of Epstein's legal team. The room froze. Second call at 11:47. Duration, 18 minutes. The number is linked to a foreign national mentioned in the Epstein investigation who was abroad at the time. Patel's face had gone pale. The third call at 14:12. Duration, 52 minutes. This number, Director, belongs to the registered representative of an offshore account directly linked to Epstein's financial network. Graham dropped the page on the table. And after all 3 of these inquiries, on the evening of the same day, the reclassification decision was signed. And after all 3 calls, on the evening of the same day, the reclassification decision was signed. The hall exploded. The committee chair tried to restore order. Patel's lawyers were whispering to each other. The press were bent over their notes. Graham didn't move at all. He waited for the buzzing to pass. Then he spoke. Director, let me tell you why I'm telling you about these calls. Patel looked. Because these searches alone do not prove anything. Maybe it's a coincidence, maybe routine meetings, maybe he has completely innocent explanations. He paused. But I'm saying this, 3 different numbers connected to the Epstein investigation. The same day, hours before the reclassification decision, and none of these searches were reported to congressional committees. Graham leaned forward. Why didn't you report these calls to Congress? Why didn't you report these calls to Congress? Those who hear this question need to share this information with others, because phone records are now in congressional records. And these records gain meaning not through the silence of those who remain silent, but through the voices of those who spoke. Patel tried to respond. Senator, as a director, I have an obligation to report all my communications to Congress. Communications with individuals connected to the Epstein investigation may fall under the obligation to report to oversight committees. Did you think these calls fell within that scope? The nature of these communications. Did you think so? Such an assessment requires legal counsel. Did you seek legal counsel before making these calls? Silence. Director. Did you consult with legal counsel before making these calls? Patel swallowed. Consultation processes before specific communications? No. Graham interrupted. His voice hadn't changed, but the thing inside had become clear. You didn't receive a call, because these calls were not planned. It happened all of a sudden, because these numbers were the ones you knew even before becoming the director. Patel didn't know what to say. Did you know these numbers before? Silence. Director. Did you know these numbers before becoming a director? Graham opened the third folder. I'm going to show you one last thing now. He took out a single page from the folder. It didn't look as dramatic as the other documents, but its content was heavier than all the other documents. This is a report prepared by the FBI's own Communications Security Unit. Date, January 2025. Subject, detection of communications conducted from the director's office that fall outside standard notification protocols. Graham started reading. Quote, from the directorate office, it has been determined that a total of 9 separate communications were conducted with individuals under active investigation or their legal representatives during the period of November and December 2024. None of these communications were recorded in accordance with standard notification protocols. This situation constitutes a clear violation of the FBI's communications security policy. The room suddenly went silent. Director, Graham said, "Your own communications security unit states that these calls are a clear violation of FBI policy." Your own communication security unit writes that these calls are a clear violation of FBI policy. Patel did not answer. "Did you see this report?" Silence. "Did you see this report, Director?" Patel looked at his lawyer. The lawyer looked away. "Certain internal reports. Did you see them? Did you not?" Long silence. "I might have seen some evaluation reports." Graham closed the folder. "So you saw the report documenting that you violated the FBI's own policy, and here, under oath, you don't even remember whether these searches existed. And here, under oath, you don't even remember whether these searches exist." Before Graham spoke his final words, there was a long silence. The senior senator from South Carolina had been in these halls for decades. Dozens of directors, dozens of oaths, dozens of protocol responses. And today, he was speaking with the accumulation of those dozens of years. "Director," he said, "let me tell you something from South Carolina. There is a saying there, telling a lie is not difficult. The real difficulty lies in remembering the lie you told." Patel looked. "You don't remember the 47-minute call you made at midnight today? You don't remember the 23-minute call you made at 7 a.m.? You don't remember making 3 calls on the same day. You say you may have been unaware of the report documenting that you violated FBI policy." He paused. "Director, is your memory weak, or is there something else?" There was no response. "Because these records are now in the congressional minutes, and these records, regardless of whether you choose to remember or not, will remain here forever." Graham stood up. "Phone records don't lie, Director. People can be silenced. Protocols can silence. Privacy scopes can be muted, but the records always speak. Records always speak." When the hearing ended, Graham was one of the last people to leave the room. He gathered his 3 folders, he talked to his lawyers for a short while, and he said a single sentence to the reporters waiting for him in the corridor. The phone records are now in the records. Then he walked away. 9 calls, numbers linked to the Epstein investigation hours before the reclassification decision and the "I don't remember" answer. Each "I don't remember" statement gave rise to another question. Her "I might have been aware" answer brought another document to light, and every silence made the phone records a little louder. When Graham put those folders on the desk today, he didn't just ask Patel about the calls. He showed him what the records meant. The records do not lie, and now everyone knows. Graham put 3 folders on the table. Patel fell silent, and the phone records spoke louder than anything he said. 9 calls, 0 explanation. If you don't want to miss the continuation of this story, stay tuned, because these recordings are not the last question of these inquiries, and each new hearing picks up where the previous one left off.